Hey guys, welcome back to MD Cubing. I'm your host, MD Cuber. Today, I have a pretty exciting video for you guys. I have a couple of announcements and some things I'm going to be showing off. So without further ado, let's begin. Before this video begins, I'm going to be running over those announcements. So if you don't want to hear them, you can go to this time in the video to start watching what I'm going to be reviewing. But here are the announcements. The announcements are that I'm going to be selling my boron treated cubes. I'm going to be making them to order, so if you guys want to buy them from me, all you have to do is just send me an email with this email. I was going to be selling polymer coated cubes along with the boron cubes. However, there are still some issues I need to be working out with polymer coating before I can actually sell it. But boron treatment is pretty cool. I'm going to be reviewing it in this video. I've made videos about it in the past, but I fully want to go over it, explaining what I'm selling and how you can order it from me. I am a college student, so I'm not sure how long I can do this before classes really ramp up. But if you guys do want to buy these cubes from me, I will show them in this video and explain what the treatment does, how it affects the puzzle, and yeah, this is really exciting. So without further ado, let's begin. So the treated cubes that I'm going to be going over in this video are the treated GAN version 100 and a treated 4x4, which is the YJ-MGC, an older puzzle, but I think it's still relevant in the conversation, versus their regular counterparts. So first, let's go over the version 100, and then we'll go to the MGC. I've gone over the version 100 before, but now I want to compare it to the boron variant. I'm going to be doing a sound comparison. Along with that, I'm going to be showing you some solves. The boron treatment doesn't affect the solves itself, it just changes the feeling drastically. With the V100, it's a very much night and day difference. This is what the regular version 100 sounds like. And this is what the boron treated version 100 sounds like. This is what the regular version 100 sounds like up close. The boron version completely removed that clicky feeling. Now for some solves. Here's a YJ-MGC regular versus a boron treated YJ-MGC. Just to let you guys know, neither of these are set up. These are completely dry, or at least sort of dry. I just wanted to show you the stock comparison. As were for my version 100, they were set up. Here's the regular and YJ-MGC. Versus a boron treated MGC. The regular MGC feels very, very sandy and almost too sandy. It kind of locks up a lot at weird intervals. It could be the tensions. However, I've tried to tension this to a point where it feels nice and it doesn't really feel that good. The boron treated cube feels very buttery and smooth, and there's definitely a very noticeable difference. Because of the surface area in this puzzle, I had to treat it with a higher strength of the boron agent in order to get the same effect on some of my 3x3s, and I can definitely feel it. This is what the internals look like. If I rip out an edge piece, you can see the treatment on the piece itself. And here is a boron piece versus a regular piece. You can definitely see the discoloration. Since different companies use different plastic types, the variance and how the puzzle will feel very much depends on the plastic that I'm treating. With the MGC, it's not as drastic as version 100. However, it feels a lot nicer, and that's from personal preference. Of course, me saying this doesn't attribute it to you actually feeling it. You'd have to try the puzzle yourself to like it, and I need scientific data to actually show you what the treatment does, which is what I'm working on currently. A lot of people ask, you're saying it reduces the coefficient of friction, but what does that mean? What are these scientific terms that I'm throwing out there? And the coefficient of friction, really, it's just, it's an equation that says mu, which is the coefficient of friction, equals the force of friction over the normal force, which is a perpendicular force applied to the turn. So for example, we could test this in my college, which is what I'm going to be planning on testing, or if I do a single turn, given that the starting conditions are the same across the two puzzles, you have a boron treated cube and a regular cube. If I were to do one turn and measuring the force applied to do that turn versus, doing it on a regular cube, what is the difference? Like how much force do I have to apply to turn this layer versus this puzzle? And the equation, we can plug the numbers in and it will tell us, how much, the coefficient of friction is either increased or reduced. In this case, with the boron treatment, it reduces it, I'd say, by about 2/3 from what it was. We played around with the numbers a little bit. It's still not 100%. I still need to do the calculations itself because, I'm not only, calculating the pieces, the friction on the pieces itself. There's also the magnets in the puzzle. And if you, work with a 3x3, you not only have the magnets, but you have the corner to core magnets. So there's a lot of things you have to take in consideration when you're doing the calculation, but there is a change. And, just comparing the two cubes, I'll do the sound comparison now. You can definitely notice it. Here is the regular MGC up close versus a boron treated one. Now let's do some solves. Overall, I wouldn't really say my times were that crazy. I mean, for the GAN version 100, they were pretty much on the same track the entire time. I did pretty well on these cubes. Although it is pretty late in the day for me, I'm recording around 12 a.m. I do like these cubes, and I think they feel really, really nice. The boron treatment doesn't really drastically change performance unless, it's considered a bad cube, or, like with the NGCs, there was a crazy variance in the time that I showed. But with the version 100, the puzzle just feels different, and it feels different in a good way. When you call a cube different, I think that can imply a level of like uncertainty, but this cube does feel really different in a nice way. It definitely changed the original base feeling of the V100 quite significantly. I don't main the version 100, although it is a very close contender. I main the ferrocore, an angstrom variant of it. But if I had to pick, I wouldn't mind maining a boron version 100. I think it's a very good cube. I have a boron ferrocore and it feels pretty nice, although I think the base version suits me better in competition, but it's not bad. And these cubes aren't bad either. I think they're really nice, and I think they live up to the hype. I'd say if you guys want to try them from me or buy one of them from me, you can follow the link in the description. And yeah, I hope you really like it. With the boron MGCs, this was a little bit more work to put into it, and it is an older puzzle, so I don't expect it to perform to the likes of my Aosu version 7, which is my main. However, this cube is really, really good, and I think I'll have to try treating my main. This is more or less just an experiment to prove it can work on bigger cubes. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope, you got something out of it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm MD Cuber. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have an excellent day. Bye-bye.